Sonoma State Dynasty is back on the Rabbit Hole Sports and Media YouTube channel, postseason edition. In this one, we should have our first bowl game. We're going to find out who wins the conference championships, check in on some awards, and we are going to find out who makes the playoff and wins the national championship. So starting with some recruiting, I can't show things because I didn't think ahead, and at this stage in the game, you can't look at your recruiting board, but we did add three-star quarterback Carlos Moses from San Marcos, California. When I also simmed ahead, we had the Army-Navy game. It was the midshipmen prevailing 37-18 over the Black Knights of Army. In the conference championships, we have FAU, who finished 7-5, 6-2 in conference, playing at James Madison, who went 10-2 and 7-1. That is in the CUSA. The winner will go to the ACC and replace Middle Tennessee. In the MAC, it's Miami, Ohio at 9-3, 6-2 in conference. At number 21, Toledo, 10-2, 8-0 in conference. Winner replacing Eastern Michigan. In the American, in the Sun Belt, it is 8-4 Arkansas State, the Red Wolves, 5-2 in conference. They visit Louisiana Tech, who is 7-5, 5-2 in conference. Winner to the Big 12, replacing Tulsa. And in the Mountain West, it is 6-6 Rice, 5-2 in conference, visiting Texas State, 11-1, 6-1 in conference. The Owls trying to do what the Cowboys of Wyoming did last season in upsetting the Mean Green to get up to the Pac-12. They will replace Wyoming, the winner of that game. In the Pac-12, it is the 6th-ranked Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara, 11-1 overall, 6-1 in conference, going to number 18 Washington State, 9-3, 6-1, due to a little bit of a tiebreaker issue. Really, UCSB should be hosting as the higher-ranked team. Oklahoma State, unranked, 7-5 in the country, 5-2 in conference. They visit 9-3, 6-1 Baylor for the Big 12 championship. In the American, it is number 7 Liberty, 10-2 in conference, or 10-2 overall, 6-1 in conference. They visit the Vanderbilt Commodores, 9-3, 7-0 in conference play. Fruitful move to the American Conference for Vanderbilt in the football department. In the SEC, not much has changed. It is the 4th-ranked Crimson Tide, 11-1, 7-1 in conference, visiting the 2nd-ranked Georgia Bulldogs, who are 11-1, 8-0 in conference. Winner will presumably get a bye in the playoff, being ranked in the top 4. In the Big Ten, it is number 3 Oregon, 11-1, 7-1. At number 1 Ohio State, 12-0 and 8-0. And no ACC championship because of the conference games glitch, but we will hopefully have a resolution to that by the time we start next season. In the relegation promotion department for the ACC, Appalachian State stays, Middle Tennessee goes. In the American, Western Michigan stays, Eastern Michigan goes. In the Big 12, it is the Raging Cajuns staying up, Tulsa goes. And then in the Pac-12, Texas State stays and Wyoming goes. So every team staying, it will be their 3rd year in the conference next season. Texas State and Wyoming, though, is the first battle where the team who stays comes down to the result in the head-to-head matchup between the two teams. Senior Deshaun Weeks gets Conference Defensive Player of the Week with 3 tackles for a loss and a sack on Senior Day. Heisman finalist Julian Sayin, the quarterback from Carlsbad, California, playing for the Ohio State Buckeyes, in 86 overall. The 94 overall Cade Klebnik, quarterback at Clemson. Caden Salter, 93 overall quarterback for Liberty. Noah Fafita, 92 overall quarterback for Arizona. And Austin Novosad, 86 overall quarterback at Oregon. Gunnar Stockton fell off ever since we mentioned him at the top of the rankings, and QB bias prevails in this dynasty. Our awards finalist at Best Defensive Back, we got Terrell Pace, all over the place, one of our leaders in tackles, 3 sacks, some tackles for loss as well. Best running back, senior Keontae Tyson, he is currently 7th, over 1,000 yards, 14 total touchdowns. Best tight end, senior Scott McLawler, in the 2nd position right now, over 500 yards, 9 touchdowns, and surprised it's not a list of guys who played against us, to be totally honest. Quick side note, was our offensive coordinator snubbed from the Broyles Award, best total offense in the country? Not a finalist. I don't know. Up to you, I guess. Best punter finalist, Matthew York, absolute beast. I don't know his exact stats off the top of my head. Looking at our team stats, 457 yards per game on offense, first in the country, 200.5 rushing yards per game, 256.6 passing yards per game, good for 58th in the country, and then our points per game is 36. That is 9th in the country, so a better rushing team, worse passing team. same overall in total yards, better in scoring compared to last year. On defense, improvements in every category, but still a long way to go. 114th in total yards per game, allowing 374.3. 70.2 rush yards per game allowed, that is third best in the country, allowing 304.1 passing yards per game, that is second worst in the country, and 27.7 points allowed per game, which is 95th in the country. Checking in on our leading two receivers who transferred, Scooter Page and Javion Foreman, 0 catches combined this year. So unfortunate to see that. Foreman is a senior, Page is a junior, so he will theoretically be back. We will have to see if he stays on Kansas State or what happens there. No staff changes for us. Rolling with our same coordinators, confidence in the guys we have brought in as we continue to build here at Sonoma State. Simming ahead in the recruiting department, we had 3-star defensive tackle Vi Bullocks from Phoenix, Arizona. We can see the complete update on your screen there. Heisman winner is quarterback Julian Sayin of Ohio State, redshirt freshman, so will be fun to follow his career. Our award winners, Matthew York, the senior punter, wins Best Punter, and we also find our bowl matchup, which is going to be a rematch against the Stanford Cardinal. Kind of boring, but at the same time, a true game to kind of settle second place in our division, maybe even third place in our conference, and we are 25th in the college football playoff poll. In the other two polls, Stanford is 25, so in theory, the winner will also finish ranked. So still stuff to play for, but not the most exciting matchup. Would love to see a team we have not played yet. But looking at the conference championships, James Madison 39-35 over FAU in the Conference USA. They will replace Middle Tennessee. In the Mid-American Conference, Miami, Ohio gets the victory in a defensive battle, 14-10. They will replace Eastern Michigan in the American. In the Sun Belt, it is Arkansas State 37-17 over Louisiana Tech. They will replace Tulsa. Louisiana Tech, the Bulldogs, not able to return to the Big 12, which they were in a season ago. In the Mountain West, North Texas is able to do what they cannot do last year. They hold off and beat Rice 20-17. They will join us in the Pac-12 conference. In the Pac-12, it is the Washington State Cougars 42-29 over UCSB, while the Oklahoma State Cowboys 42-40 over the Baylor Bears. They are the Big 12 champions. In the American, Vandy, American Conference champions, absolutely inspirational, 33-29 in upset over 7th-ranked Liberty. Alabama continues to be a pain for Georgia, 27-24 in the SEC championship in favor of the Crimson Tide. And in the Big Ten, Oregon 28-17 over the Heisman winner Julian Sayin and the Buckeyes. So, looking at the college football playoff bracket, number 1 Oregon, number 2 Bama, number 3 Washington State, number 4 North Texas. We got number 9 Boston College at number 8 Texas A&M, winner to play Oregon. Number 10 Penn State at number 7 Clemson, and this is their seed, not their ranking in the polls. This is their seeding in the playoff. Winner to play number 2 Alabama, number 11 UCSB at number 6 Georgia. Winner plays the 3rd seed Washington State, and then 12th seed Miami, Ohio at number 5 Ohio State. So an in-state battle there. Winner to face number 4 North Texas. And a quick note, because of the ACC glitch and that leaving them with no conference championship, we don't have an automatic qualifier from that conference. So looking at the divisions, it would have been either Boston College or Virginia Tech from one, and then either West Virginia or NC State from another, not factoring in how the schedules would change given the game taking into account conference games. But anyway, back to my main point. Those were the highest ranked or highest record teams in each division in the ACC. So the winner, all 4 of those teams would have been ranked. So the winner of the conference would have been ranked. They would have gotten one of the top 5 automatic spots. That would eliminate Miami, Ohio from the playoff. North Texas would still get in, likely as the 5th highest conference champion. And then you would have an automatic qualification from either Boston College, Virginia Tech, West Virginia, or NC State. So Virginia Tech, by ranking, gets the most done in by the conference games glitch in the ACC, and it definitely makes the system I'm implementing here seem a little less useless, because it makes it seem like it's easier for group of 4 teams to get in just by being in their conference and winning their conference. And to a degree, I want that to be true, because the promotion relegation is primarily meant to help them create long-term and long-standing status and prestige. But at the same time, I still want the 5 automatic qualifying teams primarily to be coming from the 2 Super 2 and then the highest 3 of the 4 Power 4 conference champions. So wanted to note that it does mess up our playoff seeding here, but oh well, cannot do anything to change that, unfortunately. But moving right along in the All-Americans department, Scott McLawler is a first-team All-American at tight end. Emil Singer from UC Santa Barbara is a second-team selection, along with Joel Glass at linebacker from the Gauchos. Don't know how Matthew York wins Best Punter and is not an All-American. Keontae Tyson, first-team All-Pac-12. Scott McLawler, first-team All-Pac-12. Matthew York is second-team All-Conference, again after winning Best Punter in the country. What you gonna do? Grant Huff is a freshman All-Conference selection. He is our backup left tackle, and we had 2 freshmen actually starting on the offensive line. So very interesting. Grant Huff did get in games in our Maryland formation, so the formations where we have no receivers and 3 running backs. I put him in for one of our tight ends, so he does technically see the field, but I wouldn't think he'd be a freshman all-conference selection. But anyway, congratulations to Grant Huff. We'll maybe get him a little development boost. And then Kai Riggins, freshman all-conference selection on the defensive side. A quick refresher of Stanford before we play them in our bowl game. They run a multiple offense and a 3-4 defense. After their loss to us in Week 3, they would go on to beat the Texas Longhorns 31-27 in Austin. They would beat UCSB 42-28. They would lose to Louisville 21-3 and UNLV 37-34. And they are heading into this game today, having won 5 straight, 21-7 over Wyoming, 31-26 over Texas State, 31-14 over Nevada, 31-3 over Cal. How they held Cal to 3 points, I am not sure. Notre Dame, a 25-17 victory over the Irish. On offense, again at quarterback, Elijah Brown, 81 overall, big arm and solid everywhere else. Wide receiver, Eli Iomanner is the primary threat, a 90 overall, very good to elite mix of physicality and verticality, so ability to beat us deep as well as at the catch point, if that makes sense. So contested catches, going to be something he is very good at. As well as the tight end, Sam Roush, number 86 and 85 overall. Solid vertical threat, very good hands, and a solid blocker. On defense, they are led by edge number 23, David Bailey, 91 overall, an athletic freak with strength. On the other edge, they have Tevarua Tafiti, 86 overall, very similar to David Bailey. Also a borderline elite athlete. I would call David Bailey a athletic freak. And then he also has good strength. And then in the slot, and their cornerback 1, Colin Wright, number 6, 90 overall. Very good speed and zone and elite play recognition. The 9-3 Stanford Cardinal and the 9-3 Sonoma State Seawolves in what, in effect, works as a third-place game for the Pac-12. Both teams ranked in various polls. Sonoma State number 25 in the college football playoff poll. Stanford number 25 in the coaches and media poll. So some meaning on the line here as a couple of Bay Area centered programs come out to Orlando to meet for this postseason occasion. The Seawolves taking the field, led by Scott McLawler and quarterback Teron Barnes. And here are the Cardinal, led by their quarterback Elijah Brown, receiver Eli Iomanner, All-American edge rusher David Bailey, and cornerback number 6, Colin Wright. There we get our first look at the tree. Second time we get a look at him in this season. If you have been following the Seawolves campaign, as over the past couple of campaigns, as we are playing football, number 27, DeMarvin Holland will take it. The Seawolves will start. He makes a cut and is going to get it out to the 20-yard line, as the top offense in the country will come out. You see the numbers there. 56.1% passing, 43.9% on the ground, and vertical threats off of that. The senior Keontae Tyson playing his final game as a Seawolf. He gets the first carry. Set. On the ground again, Tyson. Nice cutting. Should have gone back outside, but it is going to be another first down on the extra tackle in Griffin Huff. Going to drop back and pass here. Goes quick to Gregory, the fullback, and he is going to get 9 on a first down throw. Out of motion on a 2nd and 1. Going to try to go quick out to him in the flat. 8 up, loss of 5, and it is, but definitely not the intent of a bowl game. 3rd and 11, squeezing it into a tight window. That is the senior tight end, Scott McLawler, in his program and has had a great freshman season. Barnes steps up in the pocket on a pass, getting chased. He's loose, inside the 5, and he's out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Once again, directing traffic at the line. Snap away. Barnes moving around again, this time out to the left. Cross body, Tyson, touchdown. Seawolves, Noma Nation. In the end zone to get it going here. It is the senior running back catching the ball for the first score in this one today. And the top offense in the country, yardage-wise, is rolling as we get going here in Florida. Punting, extra points, field goals, all going to be his job. His first kickoff of the day is going to go to the back of the end zone. That is going to be a touchback, and that is going to bring out Elijah Brown and Eliakiah Manor and the rest of this Stanford offense. Some of those splits magnified by the amount of passing we see, which is also kind of the norm. There is just such a massive lean towards the passing game. 3rd down, Brown takes the snap from the pocket. Drops back, gets it underneath to Isle Manor. He'll get 5 yards, not enough for a first to the Rebels. Up and just inside the right upright. Nice accuracy there from 54 yards out. NFL quality kick. Tight end to the right side, twin receivers to the left. And it's going to go to the left to Javon Moore on a bubble. He has plenty of room. That is a Seawolf first down. Burns is going to drop back, throw quick. Looks like that is Javon Moore once again. He's got McLawler going to go in motion. Barnes off the play action, gets them to bite. Doesn't totally set his feet, but he's going to find CJ Pinks in the middle of the field. That is a sophomore. Barnes gets it out late on the option. Tyson looking to get around the edge. Going to throw a stiff arm. He's going to get enough. It is an over front. Barnes going to get it out to the backup tight end, Bentley. Can't quite get it in, but will get it down to the 1-yard line, and that is ends this time the extra tackle, Griffin Huff on the left. Great penetration from Stanford. They're going to get Tyson in the backfield plays. Quick out right to Milam. Touchdown, Noma. In the end zone again, 2 drives, 2 times, finding Pater. And that is number 2, Tanner Milam cashing in the 2nd touchdown of the game for the squad. And the fellas are fired up in this opening quarter. Still would have automatically made the playoff. Just wouldn't have gotten a bye. First down carry on first down, shift late, and that is going to be Noah Forsyth getting off the edge early and then really opened it up and threw the ball a lot as the game went on. Quick underneath from Brown, broken up. Quick out. CJ Peaks, first down Noma. This offense continuing in time. Quick out to Tyson, and that is Colin Wright in the slot. Very dynamic playmaker, great play recognition here. Blitz comes. Pressure getting home unchecked for CJ Peaks. Still had a chance to make a catch. Wouldn't have gotten the first down, but hit. Not able to hang on. Punt down inside the 10. Shift into a throw. Brown throws underneath. That is going to be complete. Ball on the ground. And Stanford is going to get on it. Back movement from the front from Sonoma State. All day for Brown. He's looking deep down the field. Noah Collins breaks it up. Looking for the 3rd and 10 for the Cardinal. Brown in the pocket, plenty of time again, but this one is going to be thrown away. And for the second, snap away just in time. Barnes looking. Gets out of the pocket. Once again, cross body, making maybe a little too much of a habit of that, but it is Jackson Gregory, the fullback for it. Barnes, quick throw. Strickland in the middle of the field. That is a first down. It gets wide open, and I only see it on the secondary window. Maybe on the replay we'll get a little clarity as to what went on there. And Barnes going to throw in the middle. That is Strickland, hammered at the 1-yard line, but we are knocking on the door again. Noma Nation blocking for us, and he is going to take it in, involved as a weapon in the offense today. A couple of catches, a touchdown run, and a gritty on the stat line. Sonoma Nation in the end zone again. That is 20 points on the scoreboard already. An extra point will make it 21. The fans are jumping around if they're wearing blue, and they are sitting down if they are wearing red, and that is what we like to see. Happy holidays to everyone in the game. I don't want us to be successful because the difficulty is easy. Of course, there is a little bit of a mesh between ridiculous animations from, 70, 65 overall players, because I'm not now is probably around the same difficulty as All-American. Nico Solomon, nice play. I have not commentated a single play of the game here. But you'll see PT, the settings I had, and asked them to compare it to the All-American and Heisman difficulties, and it said it was between All-American and Heisman, which is really what I'm going for. Group to get a little bit bigger as we move on here, because this is what really interests me about sports, is because you come across a lot of the same issues that you face in real life, but like in real life, you just a lot more. So this is my way of helping us think along those lines, because there are so many people in this world much more brilliant than I am that are a better world for all of us. And, a world that has more love in it, right? And I believe that starts through God and believing and seeing the way He has created us. It has 99 kick power. Now, I did not lower the kick trajectory at all, and it lands mid-end zone, so they have to be nerfing the punters a little bit, right? But Suachu, not letting them get outside. We are not getting kick-sixed. We are not Alabama in 2013. Terrible field goal, but great coverage on the kick to avoid a score, and this ties back more to a quarterback that can to throw the ball, and I think it would play out that way based on the sliders we've had. Like this year, there has not been any moment where I've just been like, yeah, we could just drop back and throw it. It's had to be very getting receivers open. It's, are you seeing the receivers that get open? Do you have enough time for your quarterback to throw to get those receivers open? It's just you're saying, oh, we can guard the other team one-on-one, and like a big part of it is you're saying, no, because the point of cover zero, right, it's called cover zero, the point that they need to get get the yardage that they need, right? So like a 4th and long, the point of blitzing a little more than it has now, where it seems like you can kind of easily have seasons where you only have 1 or 2 guys leave. And it's like, I don't really know. Because that's one of the additions at the same time. But anyway, that's one of the challenges of being a program of this level is before, if you college football, great. But at the same time, not penalizing the teams that are successful. If that makes sense. But Barnes takes off here on a screen. Even if the route calls for him to go like right behind the guy that's in coverage by default, he's still going to do that. And it's just to say, again, a lot of parallels, very similar. I'm not saying, oh, they've created a whole different sport here, but there are quick. Strickland out wide, and he is in the end zone. Sonoma Nation, 1-2, gives him a Heisman pose. TB5 to number 12. Strickland will be out the door this offseason, but it has been so much fun to utilize him. He is playing our primary slot back role, or maybe not describing things in quite the best way. Again, I really feel like I'm getting the overall spirit of other teams to have, is really kind of have almost a slot back-like guy on their offense that can really kind of create some sense, like we would utilize it, but I wasn't sure how easy it would be to be productive with it in this game over the 13-game season. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. It was a lot of fun, really cool, and this is why I like doing this style. It's McLawler outside, big time. One big catch for Scotty Mack earlier in the game, I believe. Hardest to get tight ends to be highly recognized in this game. Next year, I really hope you see more teams that are find some other challenging and ways I kind of wanted to make things a little more difficult. And down near the goal line, and at one point we had 10 or 11 straight touchdown throws. Tyson to the outside, can't quite break it loose, but on a 3rd and 12, we get some helpful animations when you're a senior. I'm not sure. Anyway, play action wheel. Tyson can't put it on the money. Couldn't adjust back for it. Lucky it wasn't an interception. Out quick on a little arrow screen, flat screen. Tanner Melam, first down. He is a junior slot receiver. Empty out the backfield. Don't see much. Barnes takes off. Touchdown. Well, I mean, don't slide too early, but Sonoma Nation. Number 5, pointing to the crowd. It has been a fantastic day out here in Orlando for the Seawolves. Get ourselves set up here. Throw over the middle. That is caught. Room to work. All the way down near the 30-yard line. Again, next to us, like on the play game screen. Jet sweep around the edge. Io Manor gonna break off a hit. He's got it inside the 5-yard line. He's got drafted by, but best of luck to him. In the NFL, another jet sweep here. That is number 81 again. A little revenge for me not remembering his name. Amari Borden. I will not forget it now. The freshman, even a game of the week at one point. Who knows? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. LJ Young recovers the onside. He's going to take it to the outside. He's got a little bit of room. And he's going to take it into Stanford territory. Well, I guess he picked it up in Stanford territory. Maybe not. Got through the 5 plays, which he has done a couple times today. Had A there. Someone was in the way where I didn't see him at first, and then by the time I got out, I had stubborn about that. Barnes up the middle on a 3rd and 7. Kind of started the slide animation, ended up getting hit. We do not fumble this program. Spencer Strickland gets in his 2nd touchdown of the game. Sonoma Nation. As much as the perception is that it's kind of cheese to use a scrambling quarterback, it's realistic-ish the problems it presents, but I certainly agree to be successful, and that is certainly frustrating, right? And so just to show I'm not trying to do that, that's not my goal, that's not what we're going for, strategy, but again, gonna continue to evaluate, want to, and Coach Callie Z and company are on the up and up. A pair of wins this season over Stanford. At some point down the line, we will need to get our revenge against Cal and get a victory against them. They certainly cooked us, and deservedly so, cooked us in the game we had against them. You see Barnes' numbers there, 323 yards passing, 4 total touchdowns, 3 throwing, 1 rushing. So 92 rushing yards, so 415 total yards of offense. Not too shabby of a day for TB5. Fellas celebrating with the fans. Looked like they were singing to the Stanford ones. Very interesting. But quick look at the stats. 317 total yards from Stanford. Averaged over 4 yards per carry on the ground. Maybe should have ran it a little more. They also got down pretty quick early in the game. And they also just didn't get that many snaps with the ball. We really suffocated the time of possession. Barnes, sensational game. Maybe his best game in terms of personal and team success. If you're looking at strictly the numbers, his BYU game in Season 1 was insane. If you have not seen that, I recommend you go back and watch that. Unless you are someone who loves defense, do not give it a look. Pretend it does not exist. Do not ever look at it. You will never want to watch football again because there is not a lick of defense played in that game. But you see the stats for Stanford there. Scotty Edwards, 13 tackles from the free safety position. Can be a sign that your safety is really flying downhill, that he has 13 tackles, or a sign that the offense is cooking you, that he has 13 tackles. I think it's the latter. But the Seawolves, 10-3, wrap up year 2. Thank you for joining us on these first few broadcasts on Rabbit Hole Radio. Your bowl winner, the Sonoma State Seawolves, and we will have you back on the network next season. Thanks, everyone. Always good ending the season with a victory. Good to do that in our first bowl game. Going to go over our team stats at the end of the season here real quick, and then we will go through the college football playoff and find out who wins the national championship. But Teron Barnes in the passing department, TB5, 273 completions and 392 attempts, 29 touchdowns, 6 picks, 69% completion, 3,292 yards, 253.2 yards per game, 8.4 yards per attempt, and a 161.5 rating. In the rushing department, Keontae Tyson, 189 carries, 1,088 yards, 12 touchdowns, 5.8 yards per carry, a long of 56, averaging 83.7 yards per game. Barnes in the rushing department, 119 carries for 767 yards, 6.4 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, long of 83, 59 yards per game. 4,059 total yards for Teron Barnes, 312.2 per game, and 37 total touchdowns. Outstanding season, once again, for the Seawolf quarterback. Spencer Strickland carried the ball 79 times for 438 yards with 5.5 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns along of 30, averaging 33.7 a game. And Nolan Knight, the freshman, 41 carries, 234 yards, an average of 5.7 yards per carry, a pair of touchdowns, a long of 14, and an average of 18 yards per game. In the receiving department, CJ Peaks leads us in total catches and yards, 60 receptions, 941 yards, an average of 15.7 yards per catch, 6 touchdowns, 72.4 yards per game. Scott McLawler, 39 catches, 583 yards, a 14.9 yard per catch average, 19 touchdowns, and 44.8 yards per game. Javon Moore, 42 catches, 537 yards, 12.8 average, 2 touchdowns, 41.3 yards per game. Strickland, 53 catches, 523 yards, 9.9 average, 4 touchdowns, 40.2 yards per game. He finishes the year with 961 total yards, 132 touches, 7.3 yards per touch, 7 total touchdowns, 73.9 total yards per game. LJ Young Jr., 17 catches, 235 yards, a 13.8 yard per catch average, and 2 touchdowns. Tanner Milam, 17 catches, 198 yards, 11.6 yard per catch average, and 2 touchdowns. Tyson adds 25 catches, 158 yards, averages 6.3 yards per catch, 3 touchdowns. Total of 214 touches, 1,246 yards, 15 touchdowns, 95.8 total yards per game. On average, Bubba Van Claiborne, the BVC Bipe, leads us in tackles, 85, Noah Collins with 81, Terrell Pace with 81, Nico Solomon with 78, and Kai Riggins with 75. Jaquez Blanks, 15 tackles for loss, BVC Pipe with 12, Deshaun Weeks with 10, Kai Riggins with 8, and Nick Forsyth with 8. Nick Forsyth leads us in sacks with 5, Alexander Valentine has 4, Joshua Townsend 3.5, Deshaun Weeks 3, Terrell Pace 3, Jordan Underwood 3, 14 total players record a sack for 33 total team sacks. Again, would love to have a couple more guys, maybe upper, closer to the 8-ish range, pushing double digits, but really like the full complement of guys we got to the quarterback this season. Interceptions, Pace, Riggins, Solomon, and Collins all have 2. Jordan Underwood, Jaquez Blanks, BVC Pipe, Dakota Mills, and Jaden Bowie have 1. In the kicking department, Matthew York finishes 13 of 16 with a long of 47, 31 of 31 on extra points. George Lincoln, 4 of 4 on field goals, long of 47 yards, and 20 of 20 on extra points. But into the playoff, I did a little bit of a hit and miss job of reporting the scores to all the games throughout this, but we still get all the results, I promise. Number 11, UCSB goes to Georgia. They lose 35-17. It is the Eagles of Boston College beating the A&M Aggies 37-20 in College Station. It is the Ohio State Buckeyes dominating the Miami, Ohio Redhawks 45-0. Cannot complain about a lack of realism in that department. As much as I love the underdog story, more often than not, that's kind of how these matchups are going to go, unfortunately. The Nittany Lions, they fall to Clemson 38-20 in Death Valley. The Tigers moving on. It is the Buckeyes taking on North Texas, Boston College taking on Oregon, Georgia taking on Washington State, and Clemson taking on Alabama. And it is the Bulldogs over the Washington State Cougars 38-24. It is Clemson falling to Alabama. I did not get the score. I also did not get the score for Oregon or Boston College. Oregon does win, they will move on, and then Ohio State just barely beating out North Texas 25-24, so a much better showing from the Mean Green against the Buckeyes. In the semifinals, it is Georgia and Alabama, and Ohio State and Oregon, and it is Alabama putting on an absolute offensive clinic. 63-21 over Georgia, 596 total yards. Jalen Milroe, 27 of 32, 429 yards, 5 touchdowns, 39 rush yards, 468 total yards. A much more competitive game in the other one, but it is Ohio State beating Oregon 23-20 as the Ducks' postseason demons continue to loom. In the national championship, it is Alabama and Ohio State, and moving right along, it is the Crimson Tide dominating the Buckeyes 42-10. Some very convincing victories in the last 2 games of the season for the Crimson Tide, and Jalen Milroe a big reason for that. 30 of 34 for 328 yards and 5 more touchdowns against the Buckeyes. Ohio State, 19 carries of the football for just 28 yards on the ground. Over the course of 2 games, Jalen Milroe, 57 of 66, 757 yards and 10 touchdowns passing. Unbelievable. And this Jalen Milroe may be the greatest video game character / player I have ever seen. A 99 overall, 92 speed, 93 acceleration, 97 agility, 95 change of direction, 99 awareness, 96 throw power, 98 short accuracy, 87 medium accuracy, 97 deep accuracy, 99 throw on the run, 90 throw under pressure, 99 break sack, 90 play action with platinum off-platform and extender, gold pull down and mobile deadeye, and silver sleight of hand. Absolutely insane ratings for Jalen Milroe, who did win the Heisman in Season 1. But that does conclude the games this season. But real quick, before we wrap up the video, we are going to look at the players that will be leaving us. There will be a few more players I will end up forced transferring depending on how recruiting shakes up. But in the transfer department, Tanner Milam and Travion Grant are leaving. In the graduation department, Matthew York, Spencer Strickland, Noah Collins. It says Stephen Harper, but I believe I redshirted him, and that is a mistake. I believe he will be back, but we will see. Kalen Franklin, Terrell Pace, Deshaun Weeks, Scott McLawler, Cole Schmidt, another guy I believe I redshirted and is returning, Bubba Van Claiborne, Jackson Gregory, Jaquez Blanks, Julius Buford, a third guy I believe I redshirted and is returning, DeMarcus Perkins, and Keontae Tyson. So a lot of important starters leaving. Check out the offseason video that will be dropping right after this one to find out who steps up and replaces these guys who are leaving in the offseason. But overall, tremendous growth from year 1 to 2. Fired up to have it wrapped up and concluded, and excited to see what year 3 has in store as we kind of see the second wave of the initial roster get their chance in the spotlight, as well as some of the guys we have recruited and brought into the program ourselves getting a chance to take on bigger roles. But thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Season 2 here on the Rabbit Hole Sports and Media YouTube channel, Sonoma State Dynasty, and I look forward to having you guys along for Season 3. Take care, everyone.